I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about from broken up to being chased. Well, if you were broken up with, you probably find it really hard to believe that you can turn your situation around and even get it to a place where your ex starts chasing you. Now, that does happen. And it happens for a lot of people that really are able to stick with the plan and the strategies, okay? There are a lot of things that can cause your ex to, want to repair things with you, but they won't chase you, especially if you're too eager or coming on too strong in any way. There's no reason for them to chase you in a situation like that. So if you want your ex to chase you, you have to have a lot of emotional self-control and really stick to the plan and the strategies that we talk about in the channel. If you don't hear us talk about it in the channel, I would not recommend doing it. I know a lot of the other coaches will have you doing really weak behavior that will turn your ex off and make things worse in a lot of cases. We always tell you guys what to do based on our experiences in seeing what works and what doesn't work. And I wouldn't ever tell you guys to do something that I wouldn't do myself personally, because I know what it's like to just want a chance with somebody to turn it around. I know how important it is. And so I always consider that when we're talking in our calls. But many of you guys really struggle in no contact and you let your anxiety get the best of you. But your ex is not going to chase you if you're reaching out or you're letting your anxiety get the best of you. You're going to look weak to them. You're going to look insecure, and that's going to make them less interested in you. Today, I've got a great story to share with you guys, a great coaching update for you guys with somebody who's done a couple of coachings with me. And it's a little bit longer, but I really like this one because there are so many nuances that he goes into with the struggles in turning it around. And so I think it's going to really help you guys, because I think you guys are going to see yourself a lot in this guy's situation, and it can help you avoid a lot of the mistakes that many of you are going to make, okay? So if you want to get your ex to chase you, watch how this plays out. Watch a lot of the strategies that we do in this situation that I help coach them through, okay? They said, "Hello, Coach Craig. I have a life update for you that I'm really eager to share with you and your channel. I'm going to share my story on how I went from being dumped to getting chased. A quick backstory. I first found your channel about 4 years ago when I went through a devastating breakup. I watched your channel for months and it really put me at ease and helped me a lot. Like a lot of people, at the time, I was really only focused on getting my ex back and not too much on personal growth. I was only 23 at the time, so I just didn't have the right mindset. But of course, it cost me. I will say that the stuff I initially learned from your channel did really help me with dating, and I dated a lot of really pretty women. I definitely was more confident after that breakup, even though I still didn't have the skills to really be a good partner." Guys, the dating world has changed. This is a very different time when it comes to dating, with social media and access to a lot more people, and people not needing each other for financial resources like they did many years ago. And culturally, there's just so many changes with dating now. You have to be enlightened with how you're doing your dating. This is why learning about attachment theory is really going to help a lot of you guys make major changes and a major shift in understanding dating and love, because you have to be a good partner. You have to be emotionally attuned and learn the skills to be a good partner, because with all the competition out there, and there is going to be a lot, people are going to look to other people and leave situations if they're not getting their needs met. A lot of people get really hurt and sensitive in regards to that, especially when you've been broken up with. But the reality is, if somebody's truly not happy, how much time should they stay in the situation? How many times do they have to warn you before they leave? How many times do they have to try and tell you that you're not meeting their needs or things aren't going the way they want or hoping before they walk away? And a lot of you that are hurting right now don't want to hear that. But if you really think about it, it's fair. And if it was the other way around and you were unhappy with somebody and you kept telling them that they needed to change or do things different and your partner didn't, eventually you would want to leave too. So I'm really trying to be fair and unbiased in that approach. I want you guys to both be a great partner and have a great partner. I want you to be able to meet your partner's needs and have a partner that also meets your needs. That's really what is going to lead to people feeling satisfied in their relationship. Okay. So I know it hurts to be in a situation where you've been broken up with and somebody walks away from you. I really do. You just want to be reflective and mindful of what you may have done or not done to contribute to that breakup. Many of you were great partners. Some of you were neglectful or anxious and didn't listen. Avoidance get villainized all the time. But if you really think about things clearly, a lot of times the anxious partner has done things that are smothering someone, and it hurts the attraction, because attraction has this balance to it, okay? Let me go on here. They said, I don't really think I was ready for a serious relationship after that breakup. I was really just more interested in going out and having a good time and starting my career. That brings me to my most recent situation. Well, a little bit more than a year ago, I met an absolutely incredible woman that blew my mind. And as you say, she really blew my ex away in every single way. I know it's hard to imagine that you could ever meet somebody that might be a better fit than your ex is or was, but believe me, it does happen. And the best thing you can do is have your mindset on having a great future for yourself and learning the skills to be a great partner. And I guess one of the things that many of us don't realize is that when you meet a woman of that caliber, you're always going to have competition from other guys. That is true. And if you're going to make those basic mistakes that turn women off, at some point they're going to start to consider those options. Yes, this is true, not only for women, but for men too. It's not just one or the other. People always are looking at their other options, right? And so if you're neglectful or you're not being a good partner, then people are going to think about leaving. And many of you probably even consider leaving your ex. Even though right now you're devastated, there were probably points at that relationship where you thought about leaving them or considered breaking up with them because you weren't happy. This kind of used to bother me, but when I really think about it, if I was a woman, why wouldn't I consider doing the same thing? If I had all kinds of people wanting to give me attention and have interest in me, why shouldn't I consider leaving the person who really hasn't delivered? Yes, this is true for all of us. We really want to be the best partner that we can be and show up the best way that we can. So people are a lot less likely to leave us. But I think one of the biggest problems, and I talk about this often, is that we take our partner for granted. We think that just because they entered a relationship with us, that they're going to stay forever. Because they told us at the time they loved us, they would always love us, or that they would always stay no matter what. And I don't think this is healthy for anybody. So back to the girl that I met, Anne. She was so sweet and funny, and honestly, she was just like an angel. Ah. I never thought I would meet a woman like that, and she was the total package for me. Things were going great for about 7 to 8 months, but she had a lot of friends and an active social life. I'm more introverted and I have friends, but not like she does. I think what started to really bother me is that she would go out with her girlfriends, and I just knew there were going to be guys that were interested in her because she turns heads everywhere we go. Guys, this is going to happen when you're dating that woman that everybody is interested in, but you can't let those insecurities come out because it's just going to lead to arguments, fighting, people feeling like things are unhealthy, and all kinds of issues. Those insecurities will get the best of us. That's when I started to do small things that begin to frustrate her. I didn't see it yet, but I was on the path to getting dumped. That's a good way of putting it. On the path to getting dumped. Get off that path. Get off that path. Those are the signs that I'm trying to tell you about, guys. I keep putting up these signs saying this is going to get you dumped. That's going to get you dumped. But you guys are just riding along, don't pay attention to it, and you keep making those mistakes. I keep showing you the signs and the path to great relationships, but people want to take that shortcut. That path to getting dumped must be paved with shortcuts. I started trying to keep her from going out as often and would guilt her when she said she had plans with friends. Not gonna go well. And she would usually be really sweet about it and try to say, well, you know this is so-and-so that I've known for a long time, and just explain to me that it was different friends from different areas of her life that she didn't get to see as often as she wanted. I mean, so far, everything sounds good from her end, right? It doesn't sound like there's anything suspicious going on or unhealthy going on. It even sounds like she was saying, well, these are the people that you know of, and like she's being transparent. I think I just started to get jealous of them because of my own insecurities. I have to admit, I did snoop through her phone several times, and I did see different guys message her and show interest, but she always said, I have a boyfriend. And that always made me feel better. All right, so it sounds like some people were interested and she was shutting them down. Doesn't sound like there was anything suspicious going on there because he said it always made me feel better. But going through that phone, well, she hasn't done anything to made you even want to do that. So it seems to me like this is more about your own insecurities than anything that she did. And of course, it's not right to go through the phone. You know that. And if you get caught, it's going to make things really bad. Okay, let's go on here. I don't think I started putting things together until recently. And honestly, doing your creative healing course and getting into therapy helped. But it's just what you say. She was secure and I was still anxious. And my anxiety was really turning her off. She kept trying to point it out to me, but for some reason, I just couldn't get it. These are the things that I talk to you guys about, those aha moments. They don't come right away. It comes with a lot of time and process, but when they really click, you're going to be like, oh, now I get it. And then you want to beat yourself up because you're like, why? She constantly gave me small examples of things I was doing, but it's like because I was so upset in the moment, I just couldn't see it. Question mark. Yeah. The path to being dumped is filled with potholes that you just didn't see. So after several months of frustration between us, I was just getting more and more scared of losing her and the attraction that we had. She said that we should part ways. Okay, so now it's gotten to the point where the frustration had building up. She kept telling him, she kept trying to share, she kept trying to show things to him. But this is what I tell you guys, secure people are going to get turned off by this behavior. And they're usually going to do it in a way that is very thoughtful or sincere in their approach, and they tend to be healthier. And it sounds like that's really what she was doing here, right? If you're paying attention to the little things along the way, she kept trying to say this and that and give examples and share things, and he wasn't seeing it. He wasn't getting it. She said that we should part ways, that she really cared about me, but she could really say I wasn't ready for something healthy yet. If you dated somebody secure, they may have said something like that to you at the time of the breakup. That there were too many things eating at me that would really hurt our chances of having a future together. And this feels authentic from her. Okay, it seems like she's been trying to steer this in the right direction, and he's not getting it. And she's probably feeling like, well, I can see where this is headed, and it's not going to wind up working out. He says, it was pretty painful to hear. I have to admit, I did do a little begging and trying to manipulate in that moment. And it took me about 4 days of just lying in bed in this sorrow before you flashed into my mind again. And I thought, oh my gosh, Coach Craig. I went right to your channel and was so happy to see you were still putting content out. I was so deeply saddened to see that Coach Margaret had passed away. And as of filming this video, that will be 2 years in 3 days. It's hard to believe it will be 2 years, 3 days from now. It was such a shock and just devastating the way that happened. Honestly, I could write a whole separate email on her. I did go on your website and donated to her GoFundMe. I thought it was the least that I could do. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you guys for all the contributions to her GoFundMe. That goes directly to her family. You know, when Victoria and I initially put it up, we thought, oh, we'll just leave it up for a couple months. And honestly, the response from you guys was absolutely incredible. I thank each and every one of you that donated even anything. Any and every amount helped her family. And the GoFundMe is still on the website. People do still donate. And it's just incredible to me that you guys do that for her family and for Margaret, really. So if you ever do want to donate, just click on the Margaret section of the website and the GoFundMe is there. Even if you donate $1, that's great. You know, whatever you guys want to donate is just incredible. So thank you. Let me go on here. I booked my Skype with you and we went over everything. I honestly felt so much better after just talking with you. Yes, this is big. When you talk about it, it feels so much better. If you can get into therapy, that's great. Please understand, your therapist doesn't have any training with breakups or getting your ex back. Honestly, they didn't teach anything like that in our master's program. And quite frankly, if there was ever going to be courses on it, myself and Victoria should be teaching them. And of course, we could have plenty of lectures with Margaret on there from past videos. After my first coaching, my biggest regret was not getting coaching with you sooner. But I was really only working part-time at the time and couldn't even afford my bills. Okay, he meant that initial breakup that he talked about 4 years ago. I remember him saying that on the call. When we did our Skype this time, something really hit in our conversation. You really helped me see how secure she was, and you told me the only way I would re-attract someone this secure was for me to become more secure than she is. That is very important, guys. The healthier you are mentally, the more attractive you're going to be. It's not even a question. Okay? If your ex reaches out and you are less mentally healthy and in a worse place than they are, it's going to turn them off. This is why all those manipulative strategies don't work, because it comes from a place of anxiety and fear and loss, and not of confidence and being positive and all the attractive traits we need to be. This is why you got to really do the work. Everybody wants to watch no contact videos, but people aren't doing the work to grow in no contact. If you did, you will see your breakup turn around much easier, and you're putting yourself in a much better position to turn things around. He said, this was my wake-up call because I knew she was far more secure than I was, and it would take a lot of work to become more secure than a woman who has been so her entire life. I did the creative healing course for at least an hour every day. That's impressive. That's a lot of work. But don't overdo it. It's process too, okay? So you want to process. You want to do the work, but also go back and process. I always recommend going back and checking your answers from the questions from the day before. Even with the workbooks, you always go back, review, and it keeps things fresh in your mind. I honestly think I got more out of your course than I did in therapy. Thank you so much for saying that. That is incredible. I had a client today who was a clinical psychologist and raving about the work that we do. So it's always amazing to hear from people in the field that love our work. That's great to hear. And I really can't thank you enough. I have to admit, being in no contact was really scary because I kept thinking she's really secure and she knows that I'm not. Why would she want to give me another chance? But I just did my best to focus on being positive and the things that I could control, which was preparing myself. It took about 4 months for her to reach out, and it seemed like an indirect direct. She said she had found some things of mine, one of which was an old baseball cap that I didn't even wear. It sounds like an indirect direct to me. See, even secure people will look for reasons to reach out to. That's when we did our second call and just went over all the different scenarios to plan and prepare for. I felt so much better afterwards because I really kept my focus on the areas that you said were likely going to come up between her and I. Okay, so here we go. Now we've gone from him being in no contact and broken up with to him trying to turn this around and go from getting dumped to getting chased. Now, you don't have to get chased, right? But it would be nice just for your ex to make an effort and act like an adult. The first date, I tried to be really casual and just focused on making her laugh and having fun. I swear it took everything inside of me not to talk about the breakup or why we broke up. You can tell he's been watching my channel because I talk about this all the time. It's such a hard thing. It's a visceral feeling that comes up inside of us. But I just kept thinking about all the stuff you talk about in the videos and all the stuff I was learning in the course. At the end of the night, I did go for a kiss and she gave me the cheek. Ooh, that stings. That hurts, right? She said, I had a really nice time tonight and I'm so glad that you're doing well. But I don't want to rush into anything. I tried not to let my heart sink in that moment, but I was focused on staying positive and optimistic. Okay, this is important, guys. This is an important thing to turning a situation around. Didn't go quite the way he wanted. He was hurt. He was disappointed in that moment. But what did he do? He stayed positive and optimistic. This is important to going from getting dumped to being chased. I told her, okay, no worries. Give me a call when you get some time. And decided I was going to go back into no contact and not reach out. It was agonizing because she took about 2 weeks to get back to me. This is big, okay? A lot of exes do this where they disappear again. They're not sure about things and you want to keep reaching out, but he didn't. She invited me to go to a concert. She told me she had plans to go with one of her girlfriends, but they couldn't make it, so she wanted me to go with her. I'll have to admit, it hurt my feelings that I felt like a backup plan. but I just tried to stay positive and remind myself she was inviting me out on a date and this was an opportunity. Exactly. This is putting a positive spin on things. If you focus on the negative stuff, it's going to create a negative energy within you. That pessimism, the idea of false hope, all of those things lingering on you can lead to negative stuff. So I really like being positive in a breakup. Puts you in a better mindset, gives you a different energy. I wanted to see it as an opportunity to showcase my new, more confident, secure self. We had a good time, but in some ways it did feel a little bit more awkward than the first date. Now maybe that's because we were at a concert and we couldn't talk too much, but she did reach for my hand and hold my hand for part of a song we both like. And that made me feel a little bit better. Sure, that's going to reassure you a bit. Okay, she does have some kind of romantic feelings here. I don't want to get bogged into too much into all the details, but all the dates were fairly good. I just kept trying to stay positive and optimistic like you talk about. But slowly, she began to reach out more and more. Okay, you see this, guys? He's starting to turn it around. He's not getting anxious. He's not getting fearful, and it's helping. I would say probably once every week to every 2 weeks in the beginning. It was hard not to reach out and ask her to get together, but I was really determined to be a success story. I refused to let my anxiety cause me to fail. I actually think I started spending more than an hour a day on the creative healing course as I felt myself getting so close to turning this around and wanting to make sure that I did. Things kept getting better and better, and I wanted to trust the process and didn't want to force anything. I think she started to slowly fall back in love with me. Or should I say, version 2.0. Okay, he means of himself. After about 2.5 months, she said that she would be interested in trying to fix things and date exclusively again if I was interested. All right, couple of months of him really stepping up and showing that positivity and the growth, allowing that behavior to speak for himself and for her to see the changes on her own. I told her I would think about it with the biggest grin on my face. She knew I was teasing, but I wouldn't have been able to do this if I hadn't gotten into such a good place. I was actually able to laugh and joke about it instead of freaking out. So, we are now dating exclusively. She has told her friends and family that we are dating again. I'll tell you, that secretly made me feel a lot better. And I really think I'm going to turn this around for good and that we are going to have a great future together. Obviously, a lot is still up in the air, but I feel so much better about myself. Putting in the work has really changed my life. It really has shown me how making these changes does impact my ability to stay present with this incredible woman who has often been so present with me. I am on probation for doing the work. I will absolutely stick to it. I think I am the happiest I have ever been. And I have so much of that to thank for you and all your videos, Coach Margaret and Victoria. You really have had a stronger influence on me than my own father. Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, that's just incredible to read. Honestly, it means a lot when you guys say stuff like that. I hope I get to meet you one day. I wish you guys would do one of those weekend retreats someday. All the best, Marcus. Incredible success story. And you could see that when his behavior was really disciplined and his attitude was positive and optimistic, and he just looked at those interactions as opportunities instead of the things that might have normally triggered him or made him feel sensitive, he was able to turn this around. And if you're going to date somebody that's secure, you have to be secure. They are not going to tolerate bad behaviors for very long. They'll give you warnings. They'll be more patient and understanding than some people are. But eventually, they're going to see that you're not lining up with what they're looking for in a future partner. So if you want to date secure people, you have to really be secure yourself. And he has done such a phenomenal job here. I absolutely love it. And thank you so much for sharing this. I know it was a little bit longer, but it was really good. So I wanted to put this one into a video. As far as a weekend retreat, I have toyed with the idea of it. What do you guys think? If we did some long or like 3-day weekend event, would you guys be interested in that? And if we did, what would you want us to talk about? What would you want us to do in that kind of event? I've had ideas in the past, but I don't know. If you guys really have a big interest in it, let me know. Leave a comment or send us an email on it, and we can consider something like that. That would be kind of fun. I know Victoria would be up for something like that. But hopefully this one's been helpful for you, and I hope you could really see why those little details in his situation are going to come out and likely come up in your situation and how you have to prepare for it. If you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can only get my creative healing course and my workbooks on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.